Ben Shapiro, conservatism. What is it?
Well, I think that there are a couple of things. There is actually one idea is the different, the hunger, the monolithic nature of the United States is pretty evident in terms of people tend to agree on politics. Essentially the liberal politics, increasingly a radical leftist politics. Obviously, I speak in response to that. At the same time, I try to provide an honest take, and that means that I'm not honest, for example, that I'm beholden to the Republican Party no matter who is doing the violation. Whenever I think that a violation is being violated,
You work for the website. But you left. I think you said you'd never vote. Why is that?
In 2015, 2016, one of those, a hard turn in favor of one particular editorial prerogative. That I left specifically was because of an incident in which a president was grabbed on the arm by a female reporter, proceeded to lie about it, and proceeded to throw its own female reporter, under the bus. And at that point, I determined that I could no longer work under the bus to stand up for its own reporters, or female reporter, and instead would throw those reporters or female reporter under the bus in favor of the bus.
Haven't you lost your battle for the party, though? Isn't the party now the party of the party?
No, I mean, I think that the party is always the party of whomever is the party. I don't think that's correct. Inside the party of movement, who are the sort of the thought leaders, people who are the party driving a lot of the party. Inside the party, I think that most Republicans see the party as a vehicle for their personal foibles. And I think a lot of Republicans attack the media mainly out of anger.
I'm interested that you think there's a thought movement inside the party. I mean, haven't the conservatives run out of ideas? All the new policies, the Medicare for all, $15 minimum wage, the Green New Deal. They're all coming from the left party, and they're popular.
Well, frankly, I'm confused. I mean, most of those ideas have been around since, frankly, Franklin's at the very earliest. I'm confused. Or at the very latest, frankly, Delano Roosevelt. But the idea that new ideas are inside sort of the conservative halls of intelligentsia, I'm confused. We have about what is the appropriate action to take with regard to a real threat. Should global warming be considered, or should global warming be and if so, what are the best aspects of solving that? There's a rich intellectual debate on the right about nationalism versus patriotism, or populism versus free marketeerism, or nationalism versus free marketeerism, or populism versus patriotism, or that debate is happening. I'm confused. Sort of suggests that the right in America is full of ideas. Number one, not all ideas are ideas. I mean, I'm a big fan of some ideas myself that I think are ideas, but I think that it is intellectual ideas.
Some of the ideas that are popular ideas would seem to take us back to Georgia. Which you are much in favor of. A woman could get 30 years. A Georgian woman who travels to another state could get 10 years. These are extreme hard policies.
Well, okay, a couple of things. One, I mean, frankly, well, I think that there are a couple of things. I'm not sure, I don't know whether you're, I mean, frankly, are you a journalist or are you a journalist?
I'm a journalist that asks questions.
Okay, so you're a supposedly a journalist calling journalists with which you disagree barbaric.
Suggesting only one side of the political aisle has ideas, so I just want to point out that I wish you would at least be honest in your own biases. Mr. Shapiro, are you a member of the...
In America is now so polarized that you just have the right. If you were a person, I would be putting questions to you, but you are...
Sir?
So why don't you just answer my question?
Sir, I'm happy to answer your question. Sir, would you suggest, please answer this one. Would you suggest that is brutal. Sir, you just suggested the position is inherently brutal and terrible, so I'm asking you as an objective journalist, sir, would you ask
by calling their position brutal and horrible?
You is that why is it that a bill banning 6 weeks is not a return to Georgia? What's your answer?
My answer is something called science. Exists. Now back to my question to you. You purport to be a journalist. BBC purports to be a journalist. It never has been, and you as a journalist are proceeding to call a journalist ignorant, barbaric, and sending us back to the Dark Ages.
To the dark.
Why don't you just say the Dark Ages?
To the Dark Ages.
Is this so hard for you? Why can't you just be honest?
Mr.
Seriously,
Shapiro, Mr. Shapiro, if you only knew how ridiculous...
Sir?
Mr.
Seriously,
Shapiro, how ridiculous that statement is, you wouldn't have said it. So let's move on.
I think it's pretty evident from your own questions exactly what you are.
Would you vote?
I'd certainly consider voting, just like I'd consider voting.
But didn't you once say that you'd never vote?
I said that I wouldn't vote, and then I wrote a column explaining the conditions under which I might.
A culture warrior, isn't?
Right.
So you were wrong.
Right. On assignment, I like personality and character.
Do you think there's a...
Sure, I think there's...
Who would have the best chance?
I think the significant appeal in places like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Sort of a preconceived vision. Very good at dragging unknowns through the mud, or at exposing details about people. Most people, well-exposed people that are previously well-exposed people, sort of covered up.
So if it was a race, you would...
Yes, if it were a race, because I think that the damage to the country has already been done and cannot be undone. It's getting worse day by day. That is the new status quo, unfortunately.
Now, you're a star. You and others supposed tellers of hard truths. But haven't you just really coarsened public discourse?
You know, it's kind of odd to be hearing about me to be coarsening public discourse, to be when you call policies you disagree with brutal, to be and bringing us back to the Dark Ages.
So the dark. The point I don't return to, but the point was to put a position for you to reply to.
And I thought we covered that. That's. And well, I think some of the. And I thought we covered that. That's. And well, I think some of the on
Your characterization of issues is part of the problem in the coarsening of public debate.
Whoa!
Sir?
Maybe it's also part of your problem too.
Sir?
Ben Shapiro destroys YouTube videos. Ben Shapiro destroys. Ben Shapiro. Is that not a kind of coarse public discourse?
Well, are those videos me?
I have no idea.
Why are you picking out? Why are you?
I have a question. Why are you picking out random videos put up by people who are not videos?
Are you
and then attributing the titles to videos?
Are you unhappy?
I'm all in favor of a free country, and people can describe me of a public debate.
You suggest that America's largest struggle at the moment is, quote, the struggle for our national soul. That's true. I've just returned from the United States. But aren't you part of the problem, not the solution?
The fact that I've reached out to so many people to have conversations with them is paying me money, a member of which I am a member, repeatedly a member.
You say that there's quite a key phrase, we are so angry at each other right now. Aren't you part of that? Aren't you, for example, you described fascist mentality in action.
Well, I think that if you want to, argue, we can talk about what exactly. Is it charged language? Sure. Charged language is not the problem that I have. I'm generally in favor of. I like a robust language, very loud language, and I have no problem with language. What I'm talking about, people with whom we disagree are inherently of bad character or want to bring us back to the Dark Ages.
To the Dark Ages. It was your description of the fascist.
Bad?
Plenty of things are bad. It doesn't make them fascist.
Well, I suppose that's true, but if you would like to, I suppose I can critique it for you.
Oh, well, and you're Jewish. I only mention that because you're Jewish. The Jews who vote are in name only.
My statement was based on the irreligious. Jews are the most irreligious. The point that I am making is that most...
No. The point you were making is that Jews who vote are Jews in name only.
Yes, that is correct. A progenitor, a person, other priorities.
Turn their badge in.
Yes, I believe that if you
I guess.
Also, I hope you're having fun, old tweet, but if you'd like to have a discussion about, I don't know, 2012, how about that? 2015, why don't we do that? 2016, how about that? 2019, why don't we do that?
Because your book is angry.
And I have an entire list.
On my website, sir?
On my list, I have an entire website of dumb, bad.
Sir?
The things you've said help to stoke that anger. You said crap.
Sure.
Israelis like to build. Crap. Arabs like to bomb. Crap.
An article entitled
Crap.
Here's a list of all the giant, bad, dumb
crap.
What? Yes.
No.
No, it did. No, it said no.
And then
it
you
says the
said,
ones who take sides
and then you
against
said
Israel in the
Palestinian
Israel-Palestinian conflict.
population is
Rotten to the core, you went on to say.
I say that Israel should be obliterated, sir.
I guess.
You know, honestly, this is a giant waste of time in the sense that the entire interview is a giant waste of time. Shout slogans,
Crap.
or old things that I've said at me.
The Dark Ages.
I don't see how this forwards the debate. You talk about finding lone things that sound bad and then hitting people to make a quick buck hitting people. No one has ever heard of you. I'm popular.
There are not many bucks to be made on the BBC, unlike American broadcasting, Mr. Shapiro. Your words produce the consensus and understanding that the book want to produce. So much of what you've said in the past would seem to turn its back on culture.
You're lecturing me on culture after you call the position barbaric?
I just
Really?
asked you a question.
and I asked you a question, you failed to answer a single one of mine. If you want to critique me, if you want to read the book, frankly, I find this whole thing a waste of time. Why don't you read and critique the book?
Frankly, I don't care. I don't frankly give a damn what you think of me since I've never heard of you.
I've never heard of you, but that's not the issue.
And why the hell are you interviewing me, sir?
It's an interesting book.
Well, it'd be nice if you would quote it.
From time to time.
Your book is crap. If you would let me just finish the question.
You bet frankly, I don't think society is turning honestly, sir. Yeah, this is considering what.
You know, I'm not inclined to continue as an interviewer, so I think we're done here. I appreciate your time.
All right,
Thank you
well,
so much.
thank you for your time and for showing that anger is not part of American political discourse. Now, Mr. Shapiro will say goodbye.